She came guns blazing though, like she was like beatboxing,
ready to
and
go.
then like I was just like very just like nice, and I feel like when you're nice to people, like when you just like kill them with your kindness, they have no other way to react than just to like calm the down, you know?
Right. What's up, friends? Welcome back to the Number 2 Podcast. I'm Glenn.
I'm Simi.
And this episode is going to be really great. Thank you for tuning in to our bi-weekly podcast. As always, I'm here with Simi. Simi, how's your week going?
Bi-weekly.
My week is going bi-weekly. A little special booger.
Love boogers.
I love boogers. I like to pick them and eat them. Just kidding. On this episode of the Number 2 Podcast, we are going to be talking about the struggle. So topic number 1 this week is what happened to me yesterday.
Oh my God.
So I go to the grocery store a lot because that's where you buy food. And if we know one thing about me, it's I like to eat. And there is a epidemic. I don't know if this is in all 50 states. I don't know if this is in Hawaii, or in other countries, but there is a self-checkout dilemma going on. Basically, these trillion-dollar corporations think we're all stealing, which I'm sure some people are, whatever. But they have closed all the self-checkouts, or they're gatekeeping. So it's like 10 items or less. So grocery shopping is like a horrible experience. Like in all these stores that are like, we're trying to compete with Amazon. Like, girl, Amazon is winning, because I would much rather give Jeff Bezos money and have it come to my door than go to your horrible store where I'm like treated like a criminal. Anyway, grocery shopping is not a fun, this is my rant, is not a fun experience for me personally, because it's a nightmare.
I feel like you notice things like that all the time. And then like all of a sudden, I don't know, I just don't notice things like that. Like I'll go, things could be annoying sometimes, sure, but
you don't notice the 30-person line and the one cashier?
Yeah, but I think I'm patient. Or
no, you're not
like,
patient.
For the most part, like I just don't notice things like you do. I think we were in line one time and somebody was being a Karen at like 3 stations over at a register with some customer, and you heard the whole thing, and I was oblivious to it all. I was like, "What? When did you see that?"
Well, because I am a seasoned retail manager and I can hear everything. If you're shoplifting in a store and you've been in retail, you know.
Yeah.
And this is why people are so unkind to customer service workers. But this is why customer service workers like have a read on the room, especially the LGBT ones, because we are already hyper observant. But at I know that situation, they've got rid of the self-checkouts at one of the major Targets by us. They're there. They're physically there. There's technology, millions of dollars worth of registers and cameras, but it's all closed. It's been closed for months. I mean, it's been 6 months at least.
Yeah.
It's just there, like making fun of us. Anyway, and it's a nightmare. And then the cashiers they hire can't count. Like, it's just, there's been so many situations where, and it's like, how do you politely say like, hey, like you owe me $5. Like the change couldn't be any clearer. It's on a giant screen. And then they're mad at you. Like the lady yelled at me, and it's like, I'm just trying to get my money. Like I need my money. Like it's not my fault. Anyway. So what they're doing now is they have a secret employee. I think it's the manager. This poor woman has this like special like satchel. It's like those like Lululemon bags that all those idiots bought. But there's like a receipt printer on it. And then she has a little tablet. And I think it's like an iPhone or whatever. So this woman, the manager, has like a secret register. And she is allowed to check out where she chooses. So that was this woman. So this woman was basically accosting the secret register woman because a small line was forming. And the woman was like, it's like unclear whether you're open or not. You know, like even the regular registers, like you feel horrible because you'll wait 3 people and then they'll be like, sorry, it's my lunch. And then you got to go get in another line. Like, yeah, the operations training at Target is like horrendous. You know what I mean? And I compare everything to Disney where like, they're like, I am so sorry. The line has concluded. Here's a Rice Krispie treat. Like, here's the next person. They will be happy to help you and we'll give you 10% off. Like, that's customer service. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm inconvenienced. I've waited for 30 people, but like, I know the next Mickey Mouse is coming for me to meet. Versus Target, it's just like, the cashiers just leave. You know what I mean? You're like, I've literally waited for 7 people, and now
They don't leave like that.
I've had them leave before, and they're like, sorry, like they didn't tell you. It's like it's not the customer's job to do password down the line. Like, hey, like did you know? Like, I mean, it's horrible. And the only Target that still has self-checkout, we actually went there yesterday, which was supposed to be the point of the story. This other location, you are an employee. You clock in. Like, you go into the store and there's like a guy at a computer, and I think that's where you clock in. And then you do your shopping, and then you go to this one does have self-checkout under 10 items.
And this is too detailed. Like, it's funny that like you I don't know. I think it's because you're white, and people are racist against white people right now for some reason.
So I'm being treated less because I'm white?
Maybe. I don't know.
I just don't think, like, it's one thing to have to check myself out. I don't know. Anyway, the point of the story is when I parked at that Target, I pulled up. It's like weird diagonal parking. And the car next to me, they were all getting in the car. And the front car, the passenger side and the person behind, I think it was like their teenage daughter or whatever, both opened the doors and slammed them into my car. And then didn't say anything.
Oh, God, you just had like a horrible day, didn't you? Well, I've been in a situation where I've hit a car before, like coming out of a car, and
with a door.
Yeah, with a door, and
you're like, so I drove into a car.
You know, and the person was like in the car, and obviously, like I was like, oh my gosh, you know, and I was very like worried about it, and I like looked, there was nothing there at all, and she came out, and she came around, and she came guns blazing though, like she was like beatboxing,
ready to
and
go.
Then like I was just like very just like nice, and I feel like when you're nice to people, like when you just like kill them with your kindness, they have no other way to react than just to like calm the down, you know?
Right.
And then she was like, oh yeah, but I was like, I don't think there's anything there. I'm gonna be in that restaurant. If you do see anything, please come find me, you know? And I was like, I'm so sorry, you know, I was very apologetic. But like your story where like
I just sat there.
They didn't do anything?
I think the girl rolled down her window and just stared at me. I mean, like she had just had her Botox
Why
done.
didn't you say anything?
Because what are you going to say? Like, I mean, I would just give attitude. I don't know. I was just over it. And I knew there wasn't any damage, but it was a hard hit. But then it's awkward because it's like, what am I going to get out and like inspect the car and then be like, all right, I need you to just show me your insurance.
For them not to even have any like anything of it, you know, they're just like, I'm going to ignore it. At least I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people don't have like common decency. Like if you do something, like be responsible and like be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Or at least say sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of just like acting like nothing happened.
Well, it's like most people go through life and they just pretend other people are invisible. You know, it's not like like where I grew up in the Midwest, like people say hi to you.
What was your positive thing that happened this week or any time in your life?
I don't know. You go first. I feel like you've been extra negative lately.
I dreamed a dream of
Eponine. Is that Eponine or Cosette? Les Mis confuses me. There's so many raggedy French people who speak perfect English.
Hey, life gets hard. Life can get you down sometimes, but you have to pick yourself up and you have to dust yourself off and you have to get back into the ringer and
if you have ringworm,
get back to work.
See a doctor. Yeah, you just got to work harder.
Nobody cares. Work harder.
Yeah, what is your best life advice? Nobody cares. Work harder. What advice would you give somebody? I am not the person
to give anyone advice. So good luck out there. And
on the Number 2 podcast, we only take advice. So put your best advice in the comments below. What advice would you give us? Unsolicited.
Solicited.
Do better. It'll be like, do better. Moisturize more.
Straighten up.
Schedule the doctor's appointment. Straighten up, you sissy.
Sissy la la.
You sissy la la.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
It's getting hot in here with all the lights.
It's getting hot in here.
Speaking about like epidemics or pandemics and stuff.
Double-demic.
My brother was going to get married in Bali. And all of a sudden, 2020 hit. And it was like a pandemic. The epidemic turned into a pandemic. And we were all crazy for it. And so he was supposed to get married in Bali, and everybody was supposed to fly out there, and it was supposed to be a thing. tell me why he wasn't canceling after everybody had canceled, and this was like well into the pandemic. Um, he was like still like planning stuff, doing all these things, and we were on the phone one time. I was like, Milo, like you can't do this. Like nobody can go to Bali. Like and then he goes, Simi, it's a pandemic. It's not an epidemic yet. And I was like, Milo,
He was confused.
You do know that a pandemic is worse than an epidemic, right?
Oh my god.
And he was like, wait, what? No. I was like, oh my god. And he still like jokes around about it to this day, but I don't know. I just thought that was hilarious.
That's wild. I mean,
that was the story. Anyway, yes, it was crazy back in 2020. I can't believe we went through that. Wild. I mean, it's changed the way life is now.
how?
I mean,
I feel like I wash my hands less.
a lot
now.
of no, a lot of people have anxiety about like I don't let people touch my face. I hate when people touch my face now.
Who was touching your face?
You. And
No.
washing your hands. It's like, yes, we used to, but like now it's like a must. What else? Working from home. People prefer to work from home.
Way better.
The economy is tanked, and inflation is inflating.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of things have come from that, but I'm glad we're out of that. And to think about it in retrospect, you're just like, what? We went through that? Like, yeah, we went through that, and we had to like wearing masks all the time.
Wearing masks all the time.
Actually, no, I kind of got used to it after a while. And sometimes going out in public, I just like want to hide. And I wish like I just can wear a mask.
Well, you still can.
You can, but then you just, I don't know.
That's wild. What do you guys remember about the pandemic? Put it in the comments below.
The long lines to get a shot.
The long lines for
Pfizer.
everything. To get into places, social distancing, hand sanitizer, shortage.
The anxiety everybody had about dying.
You could not buy Lysol.
Oh my, the toilet paper.
The toilet paper.
That's wild.
I mean, you really find out what's important when you go through a pandemic. Like wiping your butt and washing your hands are like,
yeah,
legit the struggle. We've been enabled by the toilet paper, hand sanitizer, by big toilet paper and big big hand sanitizer. Wild. Anyway,
puberty.
Puberty.
You're growing so fast.
And growing so fast. This has been another episode of the Number 2 Podcast. We are sponsored by nobody. So if you'd like to sponsor us, give us an email. Otherwise, check out our links below if you want to support the channel and help us grow. Once again, I'm Glenn.
I'm Simi.
And this has been the Number 2 Pod. We'll see you next time.